For this episode, Chris's deck building prowess is on full display.
I can't wait to tell you about this deck. It's an experience you won't want to miss.
My name's Taylor.
Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to episode 16.
5, 6.
I think we got there. This is Commander Role Reversal.
It certainly is.
New studio, who dis?
It's us still.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But it is a new studio. No green screen.
Wow, can you believe it?
And dark colored shirts.
Yes. We can wear whatever we want now.
We can.
In case you didn't know, this is Commander Role Reversal. We are a channel dedicated to building commander decks, swapping them, playing those decks, and then talking about our experience with the internet.
That's you, the internet. So please remember to like, subscribe, and share with a friend, because if you don't, we'll build another studio from scratch. Please like it. You worked so hard on this.
We might actually have to sell the Magic collections this time to make it happen.
Yeah. Mortgage. Who does? Awesome.
Well, what are we talking about today, Taylor? We've got a couple of commanders in store. I think that
more double master commanders.
More double masters. 2x2 commanders.
2x2. Is this how many episodes have we done now?
I think this is number 2 of the 2x2.
Nice.
This is 2x2 part 2.
All planned.
Yep.
Get it like it's the set that comes out tomorrow. Now you know.
Now you know our recording schedule a week and a half into the future.
Yeah. So before we dive into the decks, Chris, I think we need to figure out who won first.
Yeah. Gosh. I think we all felt like winners, but I think maybe you won.
Powerful decks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe you won at least one of the games.
I did. And you built that deck, so want to tell me about it a little bit?
I'll jump right in then with Elsha of the Infinite. A legendary creature, Jin Monk, for 2, a blue, a red, and a white with prowess, which is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast non-creature spells from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, you may cast it as though it had flash. It's a 3/3.
I always forget about the flash part.
Wow, that flash is really good.
Reading the card explains the card.
It's all the way at the end, though. There's like a lot of text that goes before that.
Yeah, it's like you blink and you miss it. It happened in a...
Well, so this is a prowess deck that cares about non-creature spells. It can win in a couple of different ways. I mean, you could, in theory, get enough prowess to get commander damage, I think. There's some storm wins. There's some... Yeah, mostly storm, actually. There's a lot of non-creatures, in fact. I'm going to jump right into the stats here and tell you that there are 56 non-creature, non-land cards in the deck.
Excuse me?
56 cards that you can cast from the top of your library at flash speed. 22 of those cards are a way to give you card advantage. There are 9 cards that are part of one or more combos. There's 13 cards that are interaction pieces. 15 ways to ramp. There are 8 storm cards and 4 tutors in the deck.
Wow. So my takeaway from that is Elsha could be a 59/59 with all those cards.
Could be, yeah.
Hypothetically.
If you just make infinite mana cast every card in the library.
Every non-creature card.
Yep, that's awesome.
Goals.
That's definitely an achievement unlocked. So, yeah, but I was really just trying to go for ways to, find the storm payoffs and also just cast enough cantrips just to keep the storm going, building that prowess, because you can definitely do some damage with Elsha. Sure. It doesn't have any type of evasion, but it gets real big. So and it comes out of nowhere too, right? If you're just casting all the spells from the top of your library, or tutoring for cards or drawing into them.
Cast one spell and it doesn't die to lightning bolt.
Oh shoot! Yeah, we're at 4
Solved.
toughness. Yeah. So yeah, lava. What is that? Lava spike. Who does?
Lava spike, lava axe.
Lava axe. Yeah.
Anything
dies
with
to
lava. Forget about dies to removal. I want a T-shirt that says dies to lava, because same.
Yeah, the floor is lava.
Oh no.
Well, that's what I was going for when I built the deck, and it seemed to play pretty well. But What did you think, Taylor? What was your experience with it?
Well, that's an understatement, Chris. No, I'm glad that you highlighted this with your brewing intention as a storm deck because, oh my gosh, it definitely stormed off. And I'm not gonna beat around the bush with this. I'm just gonna highlight the 3 major players in the storm finisher combo. We're gonna talk about Aetherflux Reservoir. We're gonna talk about Cloud Key, and we're gonna talk about Sensei's Divining Top. And then we're gonna talk about why you should never play those 3 cards. Because Aetherflux Reservoir, 4 generic for an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. Pay 50 life, and Aetherflux Reservoir deals 50 damage to any target. Now I know what you're thinking. How am I going to cast that many spells? Well, think closely. If you have a Cloud Key out, which is Cloud Key, 3 generic for an artifact that reads, as Cloud Key enters the battlefield, choose artifact, creature, enchantment, instant, or sorcery. Spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 generic less to cast.
Wow.
I know you're thinking again, because apparently I'm a mind reader this episode. We're definitely going to say creature in your non-creature deck. I think I did.
Not advised. I mean,
wasn't advised.
You could ramp into Elsha with it, I guess.
Yeah, I just needed to cast her how many times in order to get my mana back? No, you're gonna name artifact, and then you're gonna play Sensei's Divining Top, which is 1 generic normally,
or is it?
Be free. It's an artifact with an activated ability of pay 1, look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order, and then tap is a separate ability, draw a card, then put Sensei's Divining Top on top of its owner's library. So I think you're putting the pieces together here. It's an infinite draw your deck for free.
Yep. Draw every card in your deck and get that much prowess.
Oh, in the prowess, yeah. Oh my gosh. So my numbers were way off. I mean, 56 was just the number of non-creatures.
True. Yeah.
So, I mean,
those are rookie numbers.
It gets exponential. I can't do that. Math is for blockers. Fling.
There are a couple of other ways to reduce the cost of Sensei's Divining Top, but the whole idea is to get it to 0 mana so that you can just draw through your whole deck and get that storm count up.
Yeah.
And you can do it at instant speed too.
That makes sense. Oh my gosh, because I set myself up for this. I said at the beginning of the episode that I always forget it has flash, and I forgot.
You can do it during the before damage.
Am I a goldfish? You can do it before damage.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah. Or you could just play it and just gain a lot of life and not use your Death Star.
Sure. You could not do that. Does it actually do it to any target now? Because I remember on the card, I think it's creature or player.
Yep. Any target. Cool. Any target. So if you really want to wipe that planeswalker off the face of the earth, oh my gosh.
Better be a good planeswalker if you're nuking it like that.
Yeah. So awesome synergy, great pieces, powerful combo. Those are some more expensive cards, but I mean, this is Double Masters the deck, episode. So
the premium episode.
We're talking about high power combos in this episode. Certainly.
Yeah.
Moving along, sticking with the powerful artifact theme, I really want to highlight a card I used to great advantage in this game, and it was Isochron Scepter. For 2 generic, it's an artifact with imprint. When Isochron Scepter enters the battlefield, you may exile an instant card with mana value 2 or less from your hand. You may then pay 2 and tap Isochron Scepter. You may copy the exiled card. If you do, you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost.
Wow.
I'm not going to say I know what you're thinking, because I would never claim to know such a thing. But Willikers, both, Wills,
Willsikers.
I'm not hashtagging that. Wouldn't it be great if we could just imprint a Mystical Tutor?
Ooh, nice. Every turn.
That became very clutch at dealing with everything you threw at me with your deck, which we'll get to. But Mystical Tutor is blue for an instant that says search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. I think that was a little bit of a slip because the top will already be at the top of the deck at that point. Yeah. No. Yeah, I love this. This is a great combo. You had so many instants that could go in here. I didn't do my homework and get the numbers from the list of all of the valid targets for this, but it was, I think, enough of them to warrant running Isochron Scepter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of things. There are other tutors that you could use. There's like counter spells or
dramatic reversal.
And dramatic reversal is the big one. That's the one that just lets Elsha go infinite. Infinite prowess, infinite storm count.
That joke is infinitely amusing. Yeah, a lot of really good targets for that. So
go on, Elsha.
Go on, Elsha. It's your birthday. I don't know if it's your birthday. But what I do know is that this next card was a bomb, an arcane bombardment for 4 red. It's an enchantment, a new one from Streets of New Capenna. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard. Then copy each card exiled with arcane bombardment. You may cast any number of the copies without paying their mana costs. So this card, I think even when I drew it, I didn't necessarily realize how bonkers it is.
Yeah.
I think the moment where it clicked is like, oh, it's not like you've used it once and then that card is gone. Like, if you play it from Rebound, it gets exiled type of thing. Stuff like that.
Nope.
No, this is just like it grows and becomes more of a salvo of onslaught and terrible spells. Yeah. Just blowing things up. It's crazy, man.
It's really, really cool. And it only triggers once per turn, but it's once every turn. So you can cast, guess what? Elsha gives all of your sorceries flash, so you can cast the sorcery from the top of your library for flash, exile another one from your graveyard at random, and then you're going to cast 2 more spells, on top of that.
And I don't even think I care in this case that it's only once per turn, because once, good. And 2, any number of the spells that are already exiled.
Exactly.
So, darn, I only get to cast the 7 exiled spells once for free every turn?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. And in a deck like this, you're going to have so many instants and sorceries in your graveyard already that, because that's what the deck's doing. You're casting instants and sorceries. You're casting non-creature spells, but a lot of them are instants and sorceries. And then, so your graveyard's already going to be full. Or you could try to be more strategic about it. Like if you have Arcane Bombardment, or if you're going for Arcane Bombardment, you could only fill your graveyard with the spells that you want to cast every turn.
That would be sinister.
Yeah.
Or you don't care. You exile everything.
Sure.
And then I think this still procs Aetherflux. Because you're casting it. It's casting the copy.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, you may cast any number of the copies without paying their mana cost.
That seems like a good storm card.
Aetherflux. Cast. Who made this game? This is so stuff. Anyway, a lot to say about that card. Wrapping up my favorite synergy pieces, Reality Chip. I really enjoyed this. It's 1 and a blue for a legendary artifact creature equipment jellyfish. Yeah. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. As long as the reality chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. It has a reconfigure, which is pay 2 and a blue to attach to target creature you control, or unattach from a creature, reconfigure only as a sorcery. While it's attached, it isn't a creature. Reality chip, if it is a creature, is a 0/4.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this because anytime you have a commander that I don't want to say has a gimmick, but allows you to do very unique things, like look at the top card of your library, play non-creature spells at instant speed. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Any redundancy effect that you can give to that allows you to further kind of curate what the top of your library is going to be. Really cool. What I specifically liked about the reality chip is it lets you get those pesky lands out of the way.
Exactly.
That is like, there's nothing that's more of a buzzkill than looking at the top card of your library and be like, oh, I can't wait to play this land. No, because you can't.
Yeah.
But this gets around that very nicely.
Yeah, that's cool. It's sort of a secret commander.
It's a secret commander.
Kind of, yeah.
It can literally be a commander.
Yeah, it can. It's legendary. Yeah, that'd be a cool deck.
Yeah.
What are you going to reconfigure it to, though?
I'll copy it, reconfigure it to itself.
Wow, clone it. Let's go.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Jellyfish tribal. But that wraps up my synergy pieces. Really well done with this deck. They're very powerful.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Infinite possibilities to win with.
It was fun to build. It was fun to see it go off, and I'd love to tell you more about the deck that you built for me to play. Still doing the role reversal thing here.
Yeah, cleverly seamlessly working in the point of the show. Yeah. I built Ezuri, Claw of Progress for you, which was awesome. It's 2 green, blue for a legendary creature Phyrexian Elf Warrior. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you get an experience counter. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is the number of experience counters you have. Ezuri, Claw of Progress is a 3/3.
Yeah.
I affectionately refer to him as Ezuri, Claw of Prostrats.
Prostrats, I saw that. That's great.
Crazy fun deck to build. I'll just jump straight into the breakdown. It's 30 creatures, including 25 that care about counters, 5 that care about tokens, 1 infinite turn combo creature,
nice.
and then 1 Phyrexian Praetor. I'll let you guess which one. And I did put a smiley face next to that in the outline, so we have fun here.
Yeah, it comes from a good place.
Phyrexia? New Phyrexia?
New Phyrexia. I think they might have added Phyrexian to Ezuri.
Yeah, I think it was part of the Phyrexian errata.
Right.
Yeah,
that
which
happened.
is really cool.
Yeah.
Consecrated Sphinx is not.
Oh.
Yeah, they went with more of an Amonkhet theme for that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry,
Well,
you got to
fine.
add that card in later because I went off script here.
Yeah, that's okay. Not in either of the decks. Cool card, though.
No, yeah, it's a fun one. Breaking away from the creature stats, we're going to go to just 60 cards that care about counters, 60 out of the 100, which is fun. 16 cards that generate experience counters. And generate, I mean trigger Ezuri. This is the possibility there. 14 proliferation effects, 5 cards that win you the game. That's just text on the card. And then 4 planeswalkers and 2 stacks pieces, because it wouldn't be a deck that I built without a stacks piece.
Without stacks in there somewhere.
Yeah.
In Simic.
The idea with this is I really wanted to take the opportunity to showcase that a Simic deck doesn't just have to be Simic good stuff, right? So I wanted to, because that's something that you hear a lot. I feel like Simic used to be the color combo, and it might still be, where it's like, oh yeah, so you're going to draw cards and play land.
Yep.
Yes, but I wanted to highlight the versatility that counters can provide to the gameplay. So I had a couple different ways to win here, all involving the counter sub-theme. So, I mean, you could go Voltron with Ezuri very easily. I put a lot of cards in there that let you kind of manipulate where the counters end up because he doesn't put them on himself.
No.
You could go Infinite Turns was an option and just win that way. You could go wide with the Stampede effect because there are ways to... it's a creature heavy deck, and some token generators, which we'll get into. You could win with Infect. You can deck yourself and win.
Yes, you can.
There were just so many ways to win. So that was kind of what I was going for, just powerful, but kind of a different experience every time you play it.
That's cool. Yeah, I did notice that you had a few strategies, but they all sort of revolved around the counters theme.
That's what we were going
which
for.
was great. Like Proliferate was Proliferate affected the experience counters, but it also affected the planeswalker counters and the 1/1 counters.
Yeah.
Like, it was like really cool to see all of those separate strategies kind of tied together.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was kind of the goal, especially because they feed into each other. I mean, you proliferate the experience counters, and then that's just going to put more +1/+1 counters as a result with his ability. So
really cool.
But what it would be even cooler is hearing how you did with the deck.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, it was a super fun deck to play. I love experience counters. I've played a few, pretty much I think every commander that has them now. But Ezuri is awesome. And you mentioned that there was an infinite turns situation here, so I wonder if this card might have something to do with that. The first card I wanted to highlight is Sage of Hours for 1 and a blue for a creature, human, wizard with heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Sage of Hours, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Remove all +1/+1 counters from Sage of Hours. For each 5 counters removed this way, take an extra turn after this one. Starts as a 1/1. Oh, so it triggers Ezuri when it comes in, too.
Oh, it does.
Nice.
It does.
So very, very cool. I mean, getting up to 5 counters, getting an extra turn seems like pretty doable in the deck. But how do you go infinite?
I think it's just, ideally you need to have the ability to get the counters on him immediately, right?
Sure.
So I think the optimal way to do it is to already have X experience counters.
Yep.
So every time you get to combat, you're putting it on.
Yep.
Putting it on there, and so you take them all off, you start the next turn, and then you put them back on.
Just keep putting them on Sage of Hours. Yeah, that's exactly how you do it. That's so cool.
You set me up for that.
Yeah.
Aw, buddy.
That's so good, man.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah, it's not that hard to get to 5 experience counters either, because you're playing a bunch of, small creatures that trigger him, and then you're proliferating, so that's a very achievable infinite turn combo.
Yeah, which I thought was fun. I know that blue is all about those extra turn spells.
Yeah.
So seeing it on a creature
Yeah.
is really cool. And if you've got 14 proliferate effects to work with on top of that,
Yeah.
hopefully pretty sustainable. What you do with those turns, that's all on you.
Yeah, you still got to win with it, but
Yeah.
you can do it if you haven't.
Scooping is still a win, right?
Yeah. So you count the number of cards in your library and you say, okay, I've got 89 turns left.
Yep.
What do we want to do with our time?
Play again.
Game 2.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, I think it's like less than $5 for that
Oh,
card.
that's cool.
Yeah, which is fun.
It probably doesn't combo like that in a lot of decks.
Sure,
right?
sure.
But yeah, it's perfect for Ezuri.
Yeah.
Another card that's perfect to get counters on Sage of Hours and to get counters anywhere you want them. Evolution Sage.
Yes.
We've talked about this card before.
I know.
I love this card. Evolution Sage is 2 and a green for an creature elf druid. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, proliferate, choose any number of permanents and or players, and give each another counter of each kind already there. It's a 3/2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evolution Sage is a landfall creature. It's a proliferate creature. And, I mean, you just proliferate every turn when you're playing a land.
Right. And I'm glad that you point that out as being like primarily like it's a landfall. It triggers off of land.
Right, right.
Every other deck that I have included it in was because it was primarily a landfall deck. So
yeah.
it was fun to include it with the intention of it. Like I don't have a lot of ways to play multiple lands per
Right.
turn in this. It's more so just I straight want the proliferate
Yeah.
value.
Yeah, for sure. And, yeah, as long as you're making your land drops every turn, you're getting an extra experience counter
I don't
every
think you
time.
missed a land drop.
I don't think so.
All right, cool.
It's a Simic deck. I'm not missing any land drops.
We did it.
You kidding? Yeah,
Nice.
I had to circle around to
That's
that
the
one.
way that I broke the mold where, the norm with Simic, I just only put in like 3 lands.
But every other card is just straight gas.
Yeah. This is what you could be playing.
They're all 3 drops.
Yeah.
And you've got 3 lands to work with.
It's a glorified trade binder.
Yeah, they're all foil lands, full art, of course.
Yeah. So you can easily
Obviously.
find them.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Bird.
That was sick.
Thanks, man.
All right. Next card I want to talk about is all about those +1/+1 counters. Forgotten Ancient. 3 and a green for a creature elemental. Whenever a player casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Forgotten Ancient at the beginning of your upkeep. You may move any number of +1/+1 counters from Forgotten Ancient onto another creature as a 0/3 to start.
Sure.
Forgotten Ancient, I think it used to be a big powerhouse. I still think it has its homes. It's probably like you can't just like put them all on one creature and just expect to like swing in and win with it. But if you're like strategic about where you're putting the counters and everything, I mean, that would be another way to get the infinite turns too, I suppose.
Sure,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, I was honestly, I was hoping that you would have it in play when I was going infinite with that Elsha.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if you could have won,
Right.
but infinite counters.
Lose with infinite counters
Yeah.
is pretty cool. That's a win in my book.
That's an achievement. I don't know if it's an unlock, but it's an achievement.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran out of dice on my Forgotten Ancient. I couldn't keep track anymore.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We play these on tabletop.
Tabletop,
so,
yeah. I feel like tabletop has skewed my perception of how manageable a deck like this would be
Right.
IRL. So,
Right.
if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments for ways that you manage insane numbers of +1/+1 counters and tokens.
Yeah. When you have more +1/+1 counters than cards in your library,
Like, what do you do? Do you rethink your choices or what?
All right. Next card I wanted to talk about here is a really cool one. I think, this was the highlight card from last week. Let's talk about Avenger of Zendikar.
Let's go.
5 a green and a green for a creature elemental. When Avenger of Zendikar enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 plant creature token for each land you control. Has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each plant creature you control. Starts as a 5/5. So Avenger of Zendikar, another old powerhouse that is really, really good in Ezuri, because Ezuri doesn't care that your 0/1 plant tokens have 0 power or that they're tokens, right?
Right.
That's how that works.
He just cares about warm bodies and that they're below 2 power.
Check and check.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, all the proliferate effects. I mean, they're not staying O1s for long.
No. So deal with them.
You play your land, you get your counters. It triggers evolution stage. You get more counters. Yeah, you see where this is going.
Yeah, love him, hate him, bulk bin him. He does work in Ezuri.
Definitely get him into a Ezuri deck, though, for sure. It's definitely that top end card in this deck. All right, I have one more card to highlight, and I wanted to highlight it because it says "You win the game" on it. Simic Ascendancy, a green and a blue for an enchantment. 1 green blue. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, put that many growth counters onto Simic Ascendancy. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Simic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game.
Yeah, you could. So, what's the best way to play this? Like, wait until you already have the experience counters.
Oh, nice.
And then, play it, make sure it survives a turn.
Yep. And then you move those counters to something. Because this, because when you put the counters on a creature you control from Ezuri, it's going to see them, right? So, that's the whole idea. So, if you have 20 experience, I mean, that's a lot of experience, but if you have 10...
If you played 2 Avenger of Zendikar.
Okay. If you flicker them, I think you did have some, Thassa Deep Blowing in the deck. So, yeah, there's definitely ways to go bananas on it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I love it. Or just have Forgotten Ancient out.
Yes.
I win.
That's awesome. Yeah, the counters go on Forgotten Ancient. Then you move them to another creature. You get all those +1s on Simic Ascendancy, and you just win.
Magic's
Stack your
easy.
Triggers. Yeah, it's so easy.
I love Simic.
Draw cards, play spells.
I'm the problem.
All right, well, those are the highlight cards. I think we've got to talk about some questionable cards in these decks. I'll kick it back over to you, Taylor, to ask some questions about Elsha.
Can you softly toss it? Kick sounds violent.
Yeah, a little underhand throw, I think.
Okay.
Is the
Well,
way to
now
go.
you're just patronizing.
That wasn't my intention. Okay. I was just trying to be nice.
We started off the episode too nice. We gotta keep it down to earth.
That's right.
The content you know and expect.
Yep, we'll keep those hard hitting.
Burns?
I guess.
Yeah, shin kicks. I don't know. Awesome.
All right, and so with that, Taylor, what questionable cards did you have for me in the Elsha deck that I built for you
Questionable
to play
cards
against me? Wait, no, go ahead. Go ahead. I just lost.
You were pondering. Into the pondering orb meme. I don't really understand Magic Twitter. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I know that one.
The orb thing.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
Anyway, so that's my question. What? What is that? No.
Yeah, good question.
I think you might have alluded to the answer for this first questionable card a little bit earlier in the episode, but I'm going to ask you anyway. So,
all right.
I've never been able to successfully play this card to my benefit.
Oh boy.
Helm of Awakening, which is 2 generic for an artifact that reads spells cost 1 generic less to cast. You may notice that that's not for just Chris.
Yeah.
That's for every player.
It's symmetrical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the card that you play when you already have Sensei's Divining Top and you already have Elsha, and you wait to play it until you can just draw your whole deck.
And just win.
Yeah. It's like a ramp spell, I guess. You could just play it early, but your opponents are going to benefit from it, at the, before you get a chance to go off with it. So I would say this is the card that you hold up until you have the rest of the combo assembled.
Fair. Because every time that I've tried to play it, it's just like, I'm going to play this on turn 2. Everybody have fun.
And everybody's like, yes. We're all 1 turn ahead now.
Yeah. Like, wait. What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool card. It could go in a group hug deck too, I suppose.
All right, well, that's not what this was, but good to know. Thank you, sir. Speaking of group hug, Narset, Parter of Veils, which is 1 blue for a legendary planeswalker, Narset. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn, and it has a -2 of look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Narset has loyalty 5.
Narset has loyalty 5. Narset's a non-creature that gets you more non-creatures.
I feel like it's a little less innocuous than that, Chris.
Well, all right. It might be in there for the wheels. Yeah,
okay.
there's a couple of wheel effects. I mean, it is like a lockout to kind of, take out your opponents in that way, where if you have Narset on the field and you cast a Wheel of Fortune or a Windfall or anything like that, your opponents will discard and they'll only draw one card, according to the rules of Narset.
Gross.
Yeah, it's pretty
Absolutely
bad.
disgusting.
But it is a win con.
It's a con. Not a comfort to see it played. Wow.
Yeah. Imagine like playing Narset and then like using her ability to get your Windfall and revealing that to the table.
Oh, what a flex. Oh my gosh. And you say the way that I play it is bad. See, I would only run that with like a Teferi's puzzle box.
Oh.
Yeah, and then at least... Wait, no, you don't even get a card.
Yeah, does that mean you have no... Because
nothing.
you already drew your card for turn.
Okay, but hear me out. I would also only run it if I had Karn Silver Golem in the mix too, because Karn Silver Golem is a 5 generic legendary artifact creature golem that reads whenever Karn Silver Golem blocks or becomes blocked, it gets -4/+4 until end of turn. You can pay 1. Target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness each equal to its mana value until end of turn. Karn is a 4/4. Hear me out. You run the lockout combo, but as soon as you see that you're doing something that was never intended by Richard Garfield, you turn Teferi's puzzle box into a creature and give everybody a chance to remove it so they can win fair and square.
Nice. It's a 4/4 that you can swing with.
Yeah.
And they have no cards in hand to...
Yeah, I'll just swing it into a blocker. Yeah. Or you just win. Yeah.
Yep. It's a 30 turn clock, right? If you're doing 4 damage at a time to 3.
I think this could be the most powerful use of Karn Silver Golem that we've discovered to date.
So far.
Let us know.
We're going to keep trying.
What about you, Chris? What are your questionable cards from my deck?
I have a lot of questions. There's a whole list of questions. Oh, there's only 2.
Specifically related to this game.
Oh, wait. Okay. That's a different outline. Okay. All right. No, we're here. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, the first card I wanted to ask you about is actually just call you out on.
Oh, okay.
That's what
we went from asking me out
Whoops.
to calling me out.
Yep.
So this date's not going well.
Will there be a date number 2? Tune in next time.
Episode 17.
Well, let's talk about Viral Drake.
Okay.
Viral Drake is 3 and a blue for a creature, Phyrexian Drake. Must have got the errata. With flying, it has Infect. This creature deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters, and to players in the form of poison counters. It also has 3 and a blue Proliferate. Choose any number of permanents and/or players and give each another counter of each kind already there. It's a flying 1/4 with Infect and Proliferate. So this card does everything you need.
So what's the problem? What's the question?
Is Infect a viable win condition in Ezuri Progress?
I think when you run 14 proliferate effects, probably. Yeah, I mean, people aren't going to enjoy it, but I'm not going to take away your option to enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, there are any number of infect creatures that you could run. I liked how this one had the proliferate stapled onto it. That was a good call.
You can check me on this, but I'm pretty sure the only infect creature cards that I included also had the proliferate effect. Like, that was my rule. So by default, there was still an infect potential.
Sure.
But it certainly wasn't the go-to win con.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Perfectly balanced.
And, you know, these types of creatures make good blockers too, right? Like a 1/4 flyer that gives that creature a -1/-1 counter. Like, that's pretty good too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting how there are different keywords that produce the same effect. So combat damage, like Wither.
Oh, sure.
Does -1/-1 counters. Infect does when it's combat damage.
Yeah.
Weird game this game is.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to keep up. All right. We try, yeah. All right, I've got one more card to ask you about, and this was a card that was legitimately in this deck, and I can't help myself. We're going there again, folks. Karn Silver Golem. 5 generic mana for a legendary artifact creature golem. Whenever Karn Silver Golem blocks or becomes blocked, it gets -4/+4 until end of turn. Pay 1 generic mana. Target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness, each equal to its mana value until the end of turn. It's a 4/4. I haven't read that card in a while.
You haven't. It's been at least like 9 episodes?
At least, yeah.
Yeah. The restraint that you've shown is incredible.
Oh, yeah, I did have it as a question in there. But this card was legitimately in your deck, and why?
Dude, I'm running the Ozolith.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
That's legitimately the only reason.
Nice.
And to meme bait you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking through the deck list. I'm like, well, obviously this has to go on that. So thank you for helping to write the outline this time.
Hey, it's give and take here, buddy. I give you crap, and you take my Karn Silver Golem suggestions to heart.
It's going in every deck from here on out. Hopefully you're not going to make this suggestion as well.
Oh, no.
But let's throw it back to suggestions and talk about
Karn
cards.
Silver Golem.
Yeah.
No. We're burning through our Karn quota too quickly here. Suggestions.
Yeah.
I love this segment.
Yeah.
This is
so
such
good.
a fun
so
segment.
Fun. Yeah.
Especially when you already have such a powerful deck going on. Let's just ramp that up even more with some high-powered suggestions. I'm going to shout out Jay Clay for this one.
Okay.
Because he's one of our pod mates. He played this to great effect in one of his decks. I think it would be perfect in yours. See the Truth. 1 and a blue for a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. If this spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put each of those cards into your hand instead.
Yeah.
And apparently See the Truth is a 3/4. That's not correct.
Nope.
But that's a part of the outline.
So that's a really good suggestion, especially where Elsha can cast cards from the top of the library.
Yeah.
But also Arcane Bombardment.
No.
Yeah, you're casting those from exile, so you definitely just get to draw 3 cards
Definitely
every time.
an intentional recommendation. That synergy. Oh my, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's really
It's dumb.
Yeah. You cast an opt, and then you get to scry 1, draw 1, and then draw 3 more cards of Arcane Bombardment.
Seems good.
Yeah,
that
pretty
seems
cool.
Good.
Yeah.
I take that suggestion back now. That seems like too good.
That's pretty powerful. I like that design though, because it kind of forces you to be clever and come up with ways to cast it from not your hand, right?
Yeah.
So it requires a special way to build the deck.
Because how is that rate if it was just look at the top 3? Yeah, for 2. I mean, there's a card that does it for 1 mana.
Yep. And then you've got cards like Shimmer of Possibility that let you look at the top 4. So it's below rate.
Below rate. Gotcha.
Below rate, but can
higher ceiling.
Yeah, higher ceiling, way higher. Yep.
Nice. The Truth has been seen.
See it.
Witnessed. I don't know. See it.
See it here. I don't know.
Hall of Heliod's Generosity is my next recommendation for you. For no reason in particular, except there is. It's a legendary land. Pay so you can tap and add a colorless, or you can pay 1 and a white and tap. Put target enchantment card from your graveyard on top of your library.
Cool.
Specifically to get some of your synergy pieces. You've got like Whirlwind of Thought is a really good enchantment that you's in there.
Yeah.
Also just Arcane Bombardment. If someone blows that up. The only question I have is you effectively, if you get that back, you're starting back from square one because the exiled spells. But
yeah, it's a new instance of Arcane Bombardment. So all the other cards just stand exiled.
That's true. But how demoralizing.
Yeah.
To see that come back.
Yeah. It's happening again. Strap in. This is going to be great. I also like how it puts it on the top of your library, so you could do that on your opponent's end step and then use Elsha's ability to cast the enchantment from the top of the library at instant speed.
Because I definitely remembered that Elsha has Flash.
Flash, baby. God. Cool, yeah.
Sneaks up on you. Yeah, so thanks for humoring me on that one.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like utility lands. They're so easy to slot in because they're also lands.
Yep. Yeah, they just go in a land slot, and then if you have enough enchantments, which they're non-creatures, so they're still working with all of the same things that Elsha wants to be doing. You don't have to do a spell slinger deck. You don't have to do storm. You could do
that. Could be a fun enchantress build.
Right.
I digress.
Yeah. Yeah, blue and white, and then I don't really know what I've never seen like red enchantress. That'd be cool.
We'll revisit this in 90 episodes.
Nice. I can't wait.
Mark your calendars. Sticking with the enchantment theme, just a couple more recommendations for you here. Sorcerer class, which is blue and a red for enchantment class. You can gain the next level as a sorcery to add to its ability. When sorcerer class enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. You can play Blue-red to level it up to level 2. Creatures you control have tap, add blue or red, spend this mana to cast only instants or sorcery spells or to gain another class level. And then you can pay 3 generic blue-red for the final level up to level 3. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, that spell deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of instant and sorcery spells you've cast this turn.
Yeah,
This
cool.
is a Storm deck. Also goes great with Arcane Bombardment.
Ooh, wow. Nice.
Gross.
Yeah, that's going to do a lot of damage. I like Sorcerer's Class because each of the modes is relevant too.
Right.
Yeah, that's a well-designed one. There were really powerful classes. Not all of them were that powerful, but Sorcerer's Class is one of the good ones because it just draws you cards. You have to discard, but it kind of gets it kind of replaces itself in that way, right away.
Sure.
And then it turns Elsha into a mana dork, so that's kind of fun.
I think that's the highlight for me. The number 2 or the level 2, just turning all your creatures into mana dorks. I mean, you're only going to be playing this in a Spellslinger deck or one that cares about, casting.
Right.
Yeah, so like a Spellslinger deck or Storm deck.
Yeah, and it adds that extra utility to your creatures who are not as good as some of the other cards in your deck because they're creature cards, right?
And it didn't need the clause that says you can spend the mana to level it up, but I feel like that for me is what pushes it over the edge.
Exactly.
Because you don't always have an instant or sorcery, and sometimes you want to spend mana to, further your game plan and not necessarily sink 5 into a do nothing, for that turn.
Yeah.
So having the creatures being able to kind of pay towards that, I really like it.
Yeah.
Good job, Wizards.
Good job. Yeah. Yeah. Spoiler alert: the creatures in this deck aren't attacking. They're not you can tap them. It's fine. They're not blocking either.
How many were there again?
8, including Elsha, I guess.
Gross.
Yeah.
8 mana dorks. Pushed.
Yeah. Cool. I like that.
Last recommendation, bit of a twofer. I know you're a big fan of those combos.
Oh, absolutely.
And I do also know that you're running an Aether Flux.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so let's put 2 and 2 together. And I'm going to recommend Wheel of Misfortune.
Nice.
Really didn't see that one coming. So Wheel of Misfortune, 2 and a red for sorcery. Each player secretly chooses a number 0 or greater. Then all players reveal those numbers simultaneously and determine the highest and lowest numbers revealed this way. Wheel of Misfortune deals damage equal to the highest number to each player who chose that number, and each player who didn't choose the lowest number discards their hand and then draws 7 cards.
Yeah.
It's a cool political card.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
also still a wheel. It's a take on the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
But it's really cool tech when you pair it with Intervention Pack, which is 0 color identity white because it's 0 mana. It's an instant. The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. You gain life equal to the damage prevented this way. At the beginning of your next upkeep, pay 1 white. If you don't, you lose the game.
Wow.
So just pick a million.
Yeah. Nobody else is picking a million.
Gain a million life.
Wow, that's really cool.
Wheel.
Yep.
And then Aetherflux, everybody.
Yeah. You don't even care what you're discarding or drawing at that point.
No, you've
just
got a
won the
million
game.
life.
Yeah.
There are a couple cards that you can combo with.
That's a cool one.
Intervention Pack, I ended up choosing that one as the pair just because it's got the most utility in that it can act as a fog, save you from not specifically creature damage or spell damage or something like that. So mileage may vary, but that's just a fun kind of wombo combo.
Yeah.
Goofy. Wombo number 5, we brought it back.
There it is. Wombo number 5 for 0 mana. I like that it doesn't cost any mana.
Right.
Like it's a packed card, right? So you can tap out for whatever else you need to tap out for and then still do the combo.
And if you have a million life, I think you can afford to get, on next turn, sink the 3 in so you don't lose the game.
Right.
I would just play it, not pay, and lose at a million life to send a message.
All right, you're untapping. Are you going to pay? No.
Nope.
Good game.
I said what I said.
Cool. Great recommendations. That was a fun one. I hadn't heard of that combo before. That was really cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's a cool one. So hopefully you get to use it against me at some point.
Definitely in for consideration. I've got some cards to suggest that might be fitting in a Ezuri deck.
I've got some ears to listen.
Okay. I've got a mouth to tell you. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, let's move right into some
silence.
Cards that I might suggest that would perhaps trigger Ezuri's ability, perhaps synergize with +1/+1 counters. And that's a special reveal for the end there. So we're going to save that one. So first card I want to recommend is Fungal Sprouting for 3 and a green.
What did you call me?
It's a sorcery in your creature deck. Sorry, but it does create X 1/1 creature green sapling creature tokens where X is the greatest power among creatures you control.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I see what you did there.
So that's how you get to 20 experience counters.
I'll take that. Yeah. That's an awesome one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. It does require a bit of setup. Like you have to have a creature with a lot of power, and you have to have Ezuri on the field, at the same time. But
yeah.
I think like that's really the whole point of Ezuri is taking little creatures and stacking the +1/+1 counters. I mean, even if you get like 5, that's 5 more experience counters, right?
And those don't go away.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I hope you have removal.
Yeah.
Against the Simic player.
Right. Player removal, that is.
Yeah, good luck.
Cool. Well, I noticed that you had one of 2 partners in the deck, so I wanted to maybe shout out the other partner that goes along with it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you had Pier, so I wanted to give a little nod to Toothy, Imaginary Friend. 3 and a blue for a legendary creature Illusion. Partner with Pier, Imaginative Rascal. When this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Pier into their hand from their library, then shuffle. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Toothy, Imaginary Friend. When Toothy leaves the battlefield, draw a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. It's a 1/1.
Yeah. So it's so okay.
So it triggers Ezuri.
Triggers Ezuri. It plays into the win by decking yourself.
Yep.
If it dies, and also if it doesn't die.
Yeah, it's big and it's scary, and also it doesn't care if it dies; it just has to leave the battlefield. So you could flicker it to draw cards.
Oh, I wonder if I had flicker. Oh no, I did.
You definitely did. Yeah, that's why that's why I felt better about recommending Toothy. I think Pier's definitely like the default, but I think Toothy could pull some weight in this deck too.
Pier and Toothy.
Pier and Toothy.
Yeah, I'm certainly grinning. Oh man, premium cheese today.
Well, let's peer into this next card here. Oh, we've talked about this one in the past. It's a good +1/+1 card. It's Michaeloth.
Ooh.
3 a green and a green for a creature fungus. Devour 2. As this enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This creature enters the battlefield with twice as many +1/+1 counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token for each +1/+1 counter on Michaeloth. Starts as a 4/4.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Literally unplayable. It doesn't trigger Ezuri.
Oh, dang. It starts as a 4/4, but it does create 1/1 green sapling every upkeep.
No. So what I'm gathering from this is I should have gone for the sapling fungal sub-theme.
Right. Yeah, we could have thrown it back to those Thelen days.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Give it a watch if you haven't already.
Please.
It's an old one.
Apple Watch, Samsung Watch. We're not...
However you want to view.
We're not sponsored.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But if you know somebody. Well, I'm going to tell you about a mana dork. But I think it could be, one of 2 of maybe the best mana dorks for this deck. We've got Incubation Druid.
Yep.
1 and a green for a creature elf druid. Tap. Add 1 mana of any type a land you control could produce. If Incubation Druid has a +1/+1 counter on it, add 3 mana of that type instead. It's also has 3 a green and a green to adapt 3. If this creature has no +1/+1 counters on it, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Starts as a 0/2.
I really enjoy that it gives itself the counters.
Yeah.
In a pinch.
Sure.
If you need to.
Yeah.
But also 3 mana.
Yeah. If you're playing like instant speed, you could save up that 5 mana, just sink it in the turn before you want to tap it, right? But you're probably just going to get a +1/+1 counter on it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, there are ways to ensure that happens. Yeah,
yeah.
It's like, oops, a counter.
Where's that going to go? Oh, Incubation Druid.
Nice.
Mana. Yeah, I know.
That's a good mana dork. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good mana dork. The other one, I think, Druid Devotion.
Devoted Druid.
Devoted Druid.
Oh, you want to put a Devoted Druid in there?
That
thing goes infinite with a sub.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. We love you.
But please subscribe to our channel.
Yeah.
All right, last card. Here's the big reveal. It's no surprise. We're going Full out infect with blighted agent for 1 and a blue. Creature Phyrexian human rogue with infect. It deals damage to creatures with -1/-1 counters and to players with poison counters. It cannot be blocked, and starts as a 1/1, so it cannot be blocked. And Ezuri's just going to stack some counters on it for you to get there with that infect win.
Can I refuse?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can just discard this card. Yeah, just choose not to play a card on your turn and discard.
The hypocrisy of calling me out
Well,
for my infect creature and then recommending a better infect creature.
This one does not proliferate, sadly.
It doesn't.
But it also can't be blocked, so I thought that was a bit of an upside.
Yeah, no, it's only upside, I think, in that regard.
Cool.
Lovely.
Well, good.
You'd play with me again if I played that.
Yeah, I definitely would. I love losing to infect. Actually, I don't mind. It's a perfectly viable win condition.
Yeah.
Long live Phyrexia.
Remove the stigma surrounding infect.
Yeah. Somebody's got to win, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're getting old. Thursday nights, Sunday nights. I can't do these midnight games anymore.
Can somebody just infect me out so I can
I've
go
got
home?
work in the morning, please. Bills to pay. Anyway.
Nice. Speaking of gameplay and playing the games.
Good segue.
Nice. Yeah, let's talk about the games.
Yeah.
Taylor. These were some fun and powerful games, to be sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just gets me really excited for whoever happens to pull these in their draft of Double Masters.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that they had the synergy and support for each of those themes. Otherwise, I don't imagine they would be in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, it's a huge set. It's like 350 cards.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's a huge card pool. So I think that allows for more room for those types of synergies, right, when you're drafting it.
As it pertains to Commander, Ezuri, I just want your take on it. Obviously, we kind of discussed that.
Sure.
I built it in a way that there were 5 or so different ways that you could take it for the
Yes.
win con. Like, what is the optimal way to do Ezuri? Is it just straight +1/+1 counters?
I wonder. I mean, the way that I've seen Ezuri built in the past is just small creatures.
Just small creatures.
Everything is like 2 power or less, and then you're just stacking counters on them. But
Just
like
elf tribal.
I guess, yeah, like Mana Dork tribal, right?
Yeah.
But if you can get those, I'm thinking like Brushwag it's a 1-drop with trample.
Is that the Ikoria one?
It's Ikoria,
Nice.
yeah. Little powerhouse. I think it can pump
put it
itself too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea is that it has evasion, right? So if you're just stacking +1/+1 counters on small creatures, like you're attacking with them, but they can, just get chump blocked or whatever. It doesn't matter how many counters you stack on it unless you have some way to give your creatures evasion.
Triumph of the Horde.
Yeah. In fact, let's go.
It's back.
Trample. Oh, for
Yeah.
the trample, not for the infect.
Right. That's why, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously. I mean, but this was okay, maybe this was the non-conventional way to build the deck.
Sure.
In that way. Was it any less powerful? I think you just had so many different. It was more of like synergistic. It wasn't like straightforward. Okay, Ezuri says play small creatures and +1/+1 counters. It was like, okay, we've got +1/+1 counters. What else can we do in that realm?
Right. Yeah, because I enjoy that Wizards over the lifespan of the game has given different payoffs other than combat to +1/+1 counters.
Right.
So, I mean, the Sage of Hours was one example of that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted your take on that. I just really like experience counters too. It's cool to see how each of the color identities that has that experience counter mechanic. I think we're still missing a Wooburg Wizards. Wooburg experience.
Oh, let's see that.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
They'll never do that.
No.
Because then you could just have all the experience in one deck.
Like experience
Experience
tribal, right? Experience counter tribal.
What an experience that would be.
I like experience too. It feels like a role-playing game to me, like I'm leveling up or something.
Oh my gosh. So experience. So, okay. We just need to find a 5-color commander.
Yeah.
All creatures are experience creatures.
Yep.
And then you do all of the classes.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then all the backgrounds
are in. Yeah. This is the
funnest deck I've never built. We're getting away from the theme of it, but
that is quite a theme to build around. And they just printed a new experience commander too, didn't they?
Yeah, Warsaw.
In Baldur's
Minthra.
Gate. right?
Merciless Soul.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's cool that they're continuing to explore that, because the other experienced counter creatures are
Really cool.
pretty cool and pretty old. Like they haven't had the new ones for a while.
Yeah,
so.
I think the newest ones were from Ikoria, right? When they Kelsin the Plague.
Oh, that's right. There was the Mardu. Yeah. Yep.
Mardu. It's it's cool. Mardu's got 2, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't remember the other one, but
Mardu's
got
all
2.
the love.
Yeah. Does it? No. Simic does. Yeah. All that to say, I think bringing it back to Ezuri, I wonder. Yeah, I mean, he got the job done. Simic has the tools. There's no doubt about it. But it just made me realize, like, wow, they were onto something with the brokers in New Capenna when they added white to that Bant. Like, just imagine all the ridiculous things you could do. You could run resourceful.
Oh yeah,
Denial,
that's right.
That new one that's like a pseudo Ozolith.
Ozolith, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then there's also ways to like remove counters for value too, to your point, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's not all about just stacking counters and swinging. There are ways to like get value out of removing counters or moving them around too. So yeah,
it's a lot of fun. So it was fun to see you go off with it. What I enjoyed playing against it was that we had a creature heavy deck versus an infinite deck,
we did
like a story. Yeah, we finally built a deck that would like work against each other. I guess
it was a good matchup.
Yeah.
No, they're all good matchups, but this one wasn't stacked at all.
Yeah.
Was this your first time playing Storm?
It was.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, Storm in the way that it should be played.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's the accidental artifact Jan Jansen.
Oh, that's right.
From like 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it felt powerful. That's why I wanted to highlight the Trinity, as it were, at the beginning of the episode with the Aether Flux, Sensei's Divining Top, and then the cost reducer, because to your point, you could just storm off one with Aether Flux, or if you were doing something like that without the Aether Flux, you could just, I joke about it all the time, but fling, no one's going to see that coming if you fling a 68 Elsha.
Yeah.
Or you could just go straight combat.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And it's in the colors that would provide extra combats too, if you really wanted to build it that way.
Wow. That would be
extra combat Storm.
That's cool. Yeah. How many times can you cast your time warp, right? Like
how many counters can you remove from Mystic Sage? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fair question.
Well, would you play Storm again? Is this like a fun archetype for you, or what do you think?
It is. It is. I would just add more kill spells with it, I think. For some reason that I always like Storm was never appealing to me originally, just because it seemed like it relied on something other than the action of casting spells to actually finish the game. Right. So like Aether Flux, the payoff is that you're gaining enough life to then just kill someone.
Sure.
But like casting the spells, regardless of what they're actually doing, isn't the thing that's winning you the game.
That's true. It's like a lot of cantrips. It's like, oh, I'm gonna surveil and draw or whatever, and like how much closer did that get? Well, my storm count's 1 now, so let's see where this goes, right? So
yeah. I think that's why I meaned on it a little bit, but that's why I think I keep defaulting back to like fling effects, just because casting something like that is also triggering the prowess, and then it's like a way to do something other than combat with that damage, that value that you've accumulated. Because how many times in storm decks do you get the prowess triggers? If it is a prowess card. I guess prowess doesn't necessarily equal storm, and vice versa.
Not necessarily, right? Because prowess does different things. It can create tokens, or it can gain you life.
So going back to your question, then, with that framing, I would do another storm deck.
Yeah.
I guess just with Elsha, my hesitation would be like, how do I my reservation around initially ever building her would be like, I don't ever want to waste the value of the prowess trigger, and so because it feels like I've left something on the table.
Sure. Yeah. You're like, oh, I cast 10 spells that turn. Oh, it's a 13/13.
Yeah.
All right, pass. I
cool.
guess.
Yeah, I know. Right. Like I don't want to feel like that. So, and thankfully, the way that you built it, I didn't actually ever, feel like that, because I was able to, win the game. But that's just something that has always like kind of kept me personally from exploring more of that route.
Interesting. Well, there are different ways to build Storm, so maybe we'll build another one in the future. We'll see how that goes.
Spoilers.
We should talk about some future commanders, though, because I think we're coming back next week.
Unless you know something I don't. Are we literally not recording? Oh, I guess, yeah. Spoilers behind the curtain.
So, I think, let's see. I'm going to read the commander because I forgot who even started this episode at this point, so I'm just going to dive right in.
Selfish, it was you.
So the next episode is more personal decks, isn't it? We decided to highlight some of our personal decks that we have built, and the deck that I have built is my favorite deck that I've ever built. It's so much fun. It is a graveyard combo deck. It cares about landfall, and it's the Panther Daddy from Urborg, Lord Windgrace. 2, a black, a red, and a green for a legendary planeswalker Windgrace. +2, discard a card, then draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, draw an additional card. -3, return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then -11, destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents and create 6/2/2 Cat Warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk. Lord Windgrace can be your commander. Starts at loyalty 5.
I've had the pleasure or displeasure, depending on the game, of playing against this before.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, this is beautiful. I'm so excited to be able to pilot this.
I'm excited too, man. Yeah. Lord it doesn't disappoint very often. No. It usually goes off somehow. There's a lot of combos.
You know how you're worried that planeswalkers do nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't.
No, Windgrace does it all.
Yeah.
He draws cards, he ramps, he has removal. It's like kind of silly.
That could be land destruction too, right? It's just destroy target permanents.
Non-land permanents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's a do nothing.
Oh yeah, no, totally unplayable. I don't know how you're getting to 11 loyalty anyway, but
yeah.
No, you can. You totally can.
Proliferate. I'm sure you've got an evolution sage in there.
Definitely do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're unbelievable.
But I actually wanted to highlight a secret commander in the deck. This one is Gruul, baby. You know Gruul.
Oh, I'm a fan.
All right.
We go way back.
Do you know Omnath?
Which one?
Omnath, Locus of Rage. 3, a red, a green, and a green for a legendary creature elemental with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 5/5 red and green elemental creature token. Whenever Omnath, Locus of Rage, or another elemental you control dies, Omnath deals 3 damage to any target. It's a 5/5. So this plays definitely to the landfall, but it also plays into the graveyard, the aristocrats, getting rid of your elementals. There's more elementals than just Omnath in this deck.
You won't like him when he's angry.
That angry jelly bean.
Okay. Can't unsee it. I don't even like jelly beans. That's fine. Yeah, no. They're all right.
They're
I had a bad experience with
I like jelly beans a lot, actually.
With the Hogwarts Birdie Bots flavored beans.
Those are fun. Get a bunch of people together.
That was my very first experience with jelly beans.
Oh, no. That's a bad first experience.
Earwax.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not...
I never went back.
No. I can see why. Yeah. That's not a good
decided to yeah, whatever.
Well, I could tell you who it is, and you wouldn't like it.
No,
so
okay.
I'm going to pass it over to you to tell me about which of your personal decks I'll be piloting next week.
You know, it really works out. You decided to showcase your most, powerful deck that you've ever built. And here I am thinking, like, I'm going to give you a first. My first ever pre-con upgrade.
Nice. All right.
So that should go well.
That's fun.
No, seriously. I mean, it's a lot of fun. We went human tribal with Jirina Kudrow, who is 1 red, white, and black for 4 mana value. Legendary creature, human soldier. When Jirina Kudrow enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone this game. Other humans you control get +2/+0. Jirina is a 3/3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. I've definitely played against this one. It's a powerful attacks deck. Mardu, baby.
Yeah, surprisingly so. I mean, I've heard that human tribal was like, I'm sure it's decks in other formats, and
yes,
I haven't necessarily played against it in EDH, but to your point, it definitely did more than I expected for being primarily a pre-con base. Still, this was from the core or Commander 2020, the year of Commander.
Yeah, the Ikoria set.
You remember the year of Commander and nothing else.
It was all Commander all the time.
Yeah,
nothing else in world events happened that year.
Certainly not Murder Hornets. But my showcase card for Jirina is not a human, but one that definitely helps those humans hit hard, and it's Runetail. Kitsune Ascendant. 2 and a white for a legendary creature Fox Monk. When you have 30 or more life, flip Runetail Kitsune Ascendant. It's a 2/2. The flip side of it is Runetail's Essence, which is a legendary enchantment that says prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
this one just comes in and flips right away, right?
It does. That's the one. Ideally, you have it in your opening hand, you draw it before you're below 30 life, and then all of your creatures are pseudo indestructible.
Yeah. Can't be damaged, which is really cool. They can still be targeted by removal spells, but you don't like dice removal, right? But it lets you attack.
It does.
However you want to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So,
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't either. It should be pretty cool. Cool,
Dro.
Can you... What was yours? Yours was probably better.